Top tip, if you ever need to open up one of these classic Macs and don't have a long enough Torx screwdriver, use the middle part of a disposable pen. You can insert one end of the pen middle into your screwdriver or another hex bit and push in the end of the Torx T15 bit. I posted a photo of my Mac Plus on social media a couple weeks ago and got quite a bit of feedback. The photo shows Basilisk 2, a Mac OS emulator for Windows, the GTK runtime environment being installed. Some of the feedback was positive, but my die-hard Apple and Mac friends were not happy that I was showing Windows XP or otherwise on this Mac Plus's screen, and in color no less. The story of this Mac Plus goes back to 1987. I was a high school senior at this time, and the Mac Plus was the new model in Apple's Macintosh line. By the time I got my hands on this particular machine around the year 2000, it was missing its keyboard, mouse, and wouldn't even turn on. It was a nice addition to my early Mac computer collection, but since it didn't work, I decided to gut it and give the innards to my friends. He used the guts to fix up 2 other broken Macs. And I made a guitar amp out of the case. It ended up being a speaker cabinet for an amplifier, not an actual amp. It sat for years in its amp cabinet incarnation, unused, until I took it out and its SE30 sister a few weeks ago. The SE30 needs its capacitors replaced. I liked the idea of a Mac restomod and already using what I had at home. I did have a couple of old iPads I could use, but cramming it in the case wasn't working in my early prototyping. I did see a couple other videos, and one user cut a slot in the side of their compact Mac and slid the iPad in. One thing I didn't like about this was I had to cut a hole in the side of the case, and a cable would stick out. This was before I saw the Instructables mod featuring a Raspberry Pi, which is very well done. Many of them are very well done. So what did I have to use for this restomod? How about this HP 2140 Netbook? I think that might work. Upon closer inspection, I held it up to the Mac Plus and saw the screens were about the same height. And put it in place with some modding of the inside of the case. I got to work disassembling and was trying to be as careful as I could with the wires for the Wi-Fi antenna, video conference camera, microphone, and the all-important LCD cable. The wires on the LCD cable are so thin, I don't think I'd ever be able to fix it if it broke. Here you see I've mounted the display, which is the most difficult part. Just trying to get it straight in the Mac's opening and making sure it didn't look too terrible on the outside. I also put some plexiglass in between the LCD and the Mac's opening so there wasn't a noticeable gap. I ended up mounting the Wi-Fi antenna in the front of the Mac's case up above the screen, basically where it was on the Netbook. For the AC adapter, I velcroed it and a USB hub in the rear of the case so the ports would be accessible. I still have a big rectangular hole that I gouged out 20 years ago, and I need to fill that up somehow. Maybe a 3D printer is in my future. Since the Netbook had 2 USB ports, I figured I would use those too. Top tip, if you ever need to open up one of these classic Macs and don't have a long enough Torx screwdriver, use the middle part of a disposable pen. You can insert one end of the pen middle into your screwdriver or another hex bit and push in the end of the Torx T15 bit. Don't waste your money on a long-handled Torx screwdriver. I used a hard drive that came with the Netbook, which had formatted for dual booting Windows XP and Ubuntu Linux. I ended up choosing XP, at least for now, because I was happy to get the Mac emulation software working. Basilisk ended up not working properly for me, maybe because it was a Windows XP thing or my impatience, but I ended up using Mini vMac. The version I have in the video is the demo mode, but you can download it for free from their website. Pretty quick and easy emulator to use. I also ended up contributing to their website and got a custom emulator compiled to the specs I needed. Maybe I'll try using Ubuntu instead of Windows and see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I'd love to hear from you and shoot me a message here on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram at 2cogr.